Mark Rhodes, thank you very much for that enlightening and amazing speech and workshop, actually, more than speech. Can you tell us a bit about who you are so we can know more?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, I'm just a normal guy who, at the time, thought I was being really lucky with the successes I was achieving in life. And after I'd achieved my success and sold my business, I got curious about how I'd done it. And I went on sort of a voyage of discovery, looking at what makes people successful and looking at a lot of personal development tools. Why do some people manage to make such massive change when they use tools such as, perhaps hypnotherapy or neuro-linguistic programming, things like that. And at the end of it all, I found out I was doing most of those things naturally. And I actually was able then to formulate in a way that I could come back and teach people with cutting out all of the jargon, all of the overcomplicating, teach them in real basic, easy to understand ways exactly how you need to build your mindset and think about things to achieve great success in life. Yeah.
So is this now everything that you do in business, or you have other businesses?
No, this is everything I do in business. I travel the world speaking at conferences and events. I run my own workshops and seminars, and I have a very small group of clients that I actually mentor, where I go into companies and talk to staff members, or actually mentor the business owners in helping them to achieve their goals and achieve greater success. Which is quite interesting, because many years ago I'd have been the last person who'd want to speak anywhere. But again, by using the same concepts that I've sort of discovered, I was able to change how I felt about that, and now actually love doing it myself. Yeah.
So you love it, but for example, what drove you to it? I mean, what was the point where you said, this is what I want to do? And you said you've been through a lot of businesses, other businesses. What was the point that you said, you know what, this is what I want to do? I mean, this is what drives me, because you have a lot of drive. You talk out of passion.
Yeah, well, funny enough, I was when I was doing all this studying, I was on these courses about personal development. I was sitting on a course in London, and there was 900 people in the room, and I was sitting at the very back, so that I wouldn't get sort of asked any questions or something like that. And I was sitting there learning, and this speaker came on stage. He was very, very well known in the UK. He was on stage talking and all this sort of thing, and I looked at him. I'm sitting there in my seat, and I looked at him, and I thought, if he can do that, I can do that. And that was a really big defining moment for me, aside from anything else. Seeing somebody else and saying, that's just a person doing something. Well, I could do it as well if I thought the same way about it. And that was a defining moment. And then out of that, I then went to, change how I was feeling about it, so I had the confidence to go and do it myself. And again, using the way I think about my goals meant that very soon people were asking me to go and speak at conferences, and it just took off.
That's great. As I said, you speak with a lot of drive. You have that energy in you. What drives you every day? What keeps that energy? Because people wonder, like, okay, I see a positive person, I attend this course. Is he always like that? Is he always positive? What drives you? If you're always positive, or you always have that drive, what is that makes you get up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to go inspire more than a couple of people, a lot of people in this room.
Yes.
What drives you to speak with this so much?
Well, funnily enough, very briefly, what drives me to get to it is I know that there's a lot of good, simple information to share, and I've seen so many times with people that just making a very slight shift makes a real big difference to their life. That's what actually drives me, knowing that you can go out there, that there's so much unlocked potential in people. Most people have so much unlocked potential that if they were to just change one thing that they think about and look at it in a different way, they could make their life so much more fulfilling. Whether that's financially, relationship-wise, whatever. But to be honest with you, am I always positive? No. No, I'm not always positive. Yes, I still hit a comfort zone. Yes, some things do scare me. But I know it's how I'm thinking about it, and then I sit down, I go through some of the things we've been through today and some other things, and I change how I feel about it, and then I get on and do it. I think anyone who does what I do and speaks about things, I don't believe anyone's always totally confident. If you were, you wouldn't be growing as a person. Because to grow as a person, you've constantly got to do new and different things. And if they're new and different, they're outside your comfort zone. Everybody's got a comfort zone. It's just at a different place. So, unfortunately, no, I'm not always positive, but very often, because I love what I do, just thinking about what I do, thinking about my goals and where I want to be success-wise with what I currently do, that's what sort of drives me to get out and do it, and because of the results I've seen in people as well.
That's great. What you said a little bit about how you do it. You said you also do the exercises yourself that you give to people. One of the things I want to ask you, that you were coming to Dubai, for example, maybe a different crowd than what you usually do around the world, or maybe if you've been around the world, every culture, every country is different. Do you adapt? Do you do things differently? And what would you do differently if you go in a certain place?
I have to find out a little bit about the culture, language aside, because unfortunately I've only got one language, English, and I'm still learning that. When I've mastered that, I may move on to some others, but I've decided until I can master English, and I'm only probably about 55% there at the moment, when I can master that, I'll move on. But no, you do have to be aware. For instance, there are certain things that I may talk about in presentations about experiences and speaking engagements that I've done for some companies that work in some cultures, don't work in others, so you wouldn't talk about them. So you do have to be careful and aware of that, and make sure that you pitch it as best you can, that people can relate to it, of course. So yes, everywhere you go, you need to make what's going to work, what's going to fit. And obviously you could mention companies and things in your talks, but you have to be sure that they know those companies and things and can relate to them. Yes.
Something relevant.
Yes, exactly.
If I would like to ask you, I mean, it's been an amazing seminar and workshop, I would like to say, because you made us work, which is what's amazing about it. You had us work into it, and I enjoyed it a lot. For example, what is a book that I'm passionate about? What is a book that, for you, for example, helped you a lot more? I mean, all books are good, but
I think if people ask me always to pin down one book, I always go back to Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. That book's as true today as it was all the years ago it was written. It's a little bit hard going at times for people, but if you keep with it, that book's got so much fantastic stuff in there. And I think, that still holds for me as the book. Yes.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Mark Rhodes. Amazing workshop. And looking forward to see you again in Dubai.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.